Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome back to today's Tolkien Times. I'm the Man of the West, also from the Prancing Pony podcast. Let's get started with Week 58's Word Nerd Wednesday. Now, as with our previous Word Nerd Wednesdays, I'm going to pick a word or two from the other episodes from this week and do a deep dive. That means today we're going to take a look at several words that will show up in our return to Silmarillion Saturdays as we begin the Akallabêth. In fact, that's the first word we're going to look at, the Adunaic name of the island of Númenor, though only given to it after the fall. And that'll be obvious once I tell you what it means, she that has fallen. Now, Tolkien gives us this translation in, no surprise here, Parma El Delambaron 17. Now, we don't have a lot on the Adunaic tongue, but we do know that eth seems to be a feminine suffix, and that the element kalab is the past tense of a verb that's translated as fall down. In Sauron Defeated, the drowning of Anadune, we see this element in a number of phrases, including Anadune Ziran Hikalba, which is translated there as Númenor the beloved, she fell down, as well as Anaduni Akallabêth, Westerness fell in ruin. Now, towards the end of Akallabêth, we'll see the Quenya translation of this word, Atalante, and we'll definitely have things to talk about then. Still, back in the text here, we get the name of Eärendil's ship, and we see it in two languages. First, the Quenya name Vingalot, which means foam flower, and that comes from the elements winga or vinga, foam or spray, and lote, flower. Now we see that lote element in one of the alternate names of Telperion, Ninquelote, meaning white blossom. But that first element is interesting because it comes into play with the Adunaic name for this ship, Rothinzil. Now, the name is a direct translation, or calque, where you simply take the elements of the word in one language and translate them into another. Bag end is a great example because it's a calque of French cul-de-sac, end of the bag, so bag end. It's literally just a translation. Now here, Rothinzil is a literal translation of Vingalot, foam flower, where the Roth element for foam and the Inzil element for flower. Now let's deal with that second one first. We see the Inzil element in the birth name of Tar Palantir, Inziladun, flower of the west. But it's that Roth element I really want to focus on. It's derivative from Sindarin Ros, which is in the name Elros, star foam. Now remember when I mentioned the Winga or Vinga element in Quenya, meaning foam or spray? Elwing's name is star spray, and that Winga element is translated as Roth in Rothinzil. But it's also directly connected to the name of Elwing's son, Elros, meaning star foam, literally named after his mother. To get deeper, we'd have to get into a 1968 essay called The Problem of Ross, and that is frankly too deep a dive for today, but maybe some other time. Instead, we're going to look at the names of the island. Andor is Quenya and means the land of gift. Right? Dor is in Gondor, Eriador, etc. It just means land or realm. And the An prefix is something we know very well from Anatar, Lord of Gifts. Elenna is a fun one, though. It is the allative form of the Quenya word Elen, meaning star. Now, what's an allative form? It simply means that it expresses direction towards. So Elenna really means toward star. Now, to go a bit deeper into the word nerdery here, the allative form means towards, the ablative form means from. And we see both ablative and allative forms in the Oath of Elendil that Aragorn speaks at his coronation. Et Eärello endrenna utulien, where Eärello is the ablative form of the sea, so it means from the sea. Endrenna is the allative form of Endore, or Middle Earth, so it's to Middle Earth. So there's your grammar lesson for today. Anyway, the island is Elenna, or Star Wards. That's Star Wards, not Star Wars, just so you know. But the kingdom is Númenor. Now, it might be the island kingdom of Númenor, but I'm going to get pedantic here. I'm sure that's a surprise to everybody. It's never just the island of Númenor. It's the island kingdom of Númenor, or it's the island of various names, Elenna, Andor, whatever you want to call it. Of course, we all still call it the island of Númenor, and that's totally fine. Speaking of which, Númenor is simply the shortened form of the Quenya name that we get here, Númenore. Now, this can be translated as Westerness or Westland, and it is a compound formed from two elements. The first, you're going to recognize this, Numen, it means west. It's from a primitive Quenya root meaning going down, and it's for sunset or west. Now, the second element is also familiar, Nore, the Quenya word for land associated with a particular people. We see it in Valinor as well, but you're going to recognize it more by its Sindarin cognate, Dor, as in Gondor, stone land, Mordor, black land, or Doriath, fenced land. Now, we also get its direct Adunaic translation, Anadune, with that second element, Dune, a derivative of the Sindarin Dun, and Anun for west, like Dunedain, Hennethonun, etc. We see the same Dune Adunaic element in the names of Inziladun, which we looked at earlier, Flower of the West, the birth name for Tar Palantir, and the ill-advised name Ar Adunakor, or Lord of the West, the 20th king of Numenor, and the first king to break with tradition and take his title in Adunaic rather than Quenya. Though the Quenya version, Tar Herunumen, Numen, there it is again, was still recorded in the Scroll of Kings because of fear, though not enough fear to not call yourself by the name reserved for Manwë. Now, folks, that is it for today's Word Nerd Wednesday. But come back next week as we wander the wide, wild, wonderful world of words weekly on Wednesdays. And if there's a word you want to know more about, please let me know by emailing barliman@theprancingponypodcast.com. Visit patreon.com/TolkienTimes to learn how you can support the show, get an ad-free feed, a monthly hangout with me, a bonus weekly episode, and a lot more. And then join me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times for Third Age Thursday. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Follow or subscribe in your podcast apps and follow @Tolkien Times on all your social media. Finally, as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.